Research is hard, but your tools should not be. Subthesis.com is the free alternative to expensive software. Whether you need to calculate Cronbach's alpha or organize your field notes, Subthesis has a tool for it. No paywalls and no registration required. Check the link in the description and let's dive into today's lesson. Welcome to this essential discussion of balancing graduate school with personal life. Graduate education poses unique challenges to work-life balance. Unlike most jobs with defined hours and boundaries, graduate work expands to fill every available moment. There is always another paper to read, another analysis to run, another draft to revise. The boundaries between work and life blur when your work is also your intellectual passion and when much of your work happens in the same spaces where you live. Yet personal life is not separate from academic success. The relationships, health, and well-being you maintain outside academia directly support your capacity for academic work. Partners, family, friends, and personal interests are not distractions from your real purpose, but essential components of a sustainable graduate experience. Today, we will explore practical strategies for integrating academic and personal responsibilities, maintaining relationships, and building patterns that serve both your scholarly ambitions and your life satisfaction. True balance may not be achievable in every week, but sustainable integration across your graduate career is both possible and necessary. By the end of this session, you will be equipped across 4 essential dimensions of work-life integration. First, you will understand the unique work-life challenges facing graduate students, including why traditional work-life balance advice often misses the mark for your situation. Second, you will develop practical strategies for integrating academic and personal responsibilities, moving beyond the idea of perfect balance toward realistic sustainability. Third, you will learn approaches for maintaining important relationships throughout your graduate education, recognizing that isolation undermines both well-being and academic performance. Finally, you will build sustainable patterns that serve both academic success and life satisfaction, creating an approach you can maintain across the years of your program. Let us begin by understanding what makes graduate student work-life balance particularly challenging. Graduate students face work-life balance challenges distinct from most other professions. Understanding these unique features helps you address them appropriately rather than applying generic advice that does not fit your situation. Boundaryless work means there is no natural end to the graduate workday. Unlike a job where you leave the office and work stays behind, your research follows you everywhere. You could read papers at midnight. You could draft during weekends. The work never declares itself finished, so stopping is always a choice rather than a requirement. Identity fusion occurs when your sense of self becomes intertwined with your research. This is not entirely unhealthy since passion for your work drives scholarly contribution. But when your research is going poorly, your entire identity feels threatened. This fusion makes it harder to step away because stepping away from work feels like stepping away from who you are. Flexible scheduling is both blessing and curse. The freedom to structure your own time enables accommodation of personal needs, but without external structure, maintaining boundaries requires constant self-discipline. Every choice to stop working must be actively made. Default momentum continues working indefinitely. Guilt accompanies rest because you could always be doing more. When work is never done and boundaries are self-imposed, relaxation feels like dereliction. This guilt undermines the recovery value of rest. You are physically present with family or friends while mentally feeling you should be working. The concept of balance implies equal weights on a scale, but this framing sets unrealistic expectations. Reframing toward integration is more helpful for graduate life. Perfect balance on any given day or week is mythical. Some days will be heavily academic. Other days will center on personal demands. Expecting every day to achieve perfect equilibrium creates constant sense of failure. Instead, seek reasonable distribution across longer periods like months and semesters. Integration recognizes that work and life interweave rather than existing in separate compartments. You might do some reading during a family visit. You might have a personal conversation at your lab. Strict separation may be impossible and unnecessary. The question is not whether work and life mix, but whether the mixture serves your goals and well-being. Sustainability is the key criterion. Can you maintain your current patterns across years, not just weeks? Sprint paces cannot be sustained for marathon distances. If you are burning out, your patterns are not sustainable, regardless of how productive they seem in the short term. Seasons of imbalance are normal and acceptable. Dissertation defense preparation, job market applications, and major deadlines create intense periods where work dominates. These seasons are manageable when they are genuinely temporary and followed by recovery. Problems arise when intense periods become permanent states. Effective integration requires clarity about your priorities. Many people operate on autopilot, following default patterns without examining whether those patterns reflect what they actually value. Examine what matters most to you beyond default assumptions. Academia often assumes research should dominate everything, but you get to decide your own values. Perhaps family relationships matter more to you than maximizing publications. Perhaps health is non-negotiable. Perhaps community involvement is essential to who you are. Your priorities are yours to define. Identify your non-negotiables, the things you refuse to sacrifice regardless of academic pressure. This might be daily exercise, weekly time with a partner, or regular calls with family. Knowing your non-negotiables helps you protect them when competing demands arise. If everything is negotiable, everything eventually gets sacrificed. Acknowledge trade-offs honestly. You cannot optimize everything simultaneously. Choosing to prioritize one thing means giving less to something else. Pretending you can have it all creates frustration when reality intrudes. Accepting trade-offs enables conscious choices rather than feeling victimized by constraints. Examine whether your time allocation aligns with your stated values. If you claim family is your highest priority but spend minimal time with family, a gap exists between stated and revealed preferences. Either adjust your time allocation or acknowledge that your priorities may be different than you thought. Personal time requires active protection because work expands to fill available space. Without deliberate defense, personal life gets squeezed out by academic demands that always seem urgent. Schedule personal time on your calendar with the same seriousness as work commitments. Block time for exercise, relationship activities, hobbies, and rest. If it is not on the calendar, it probably will not happen. Treating personal time as scheduled rather than leftover signals its importance to yourself and others. Treat personal commitments as real appointments that cannot be casually overridden. When someone asks you to meet during your gym time, you are not available. When a deadline tempts you to cancel dinner plans, resist unless genuinely necessary. Each time you sacrifice personal time, you teach yourself that personal commitments do not really count. Protect routines that sustain you with particular vigilance. Whatever practices keep you functional and healthy deserve strong protection. If morning exercise makes your entire day better, morning exercise is not optional. If Sunday family time restores your motivation, Sunday family time is essential infrastructure, not luxury. Build in planned flexibility for when personal time can move. Absolute rigidity creates its own problems. Know which personal commitments are truly non-negotiable and which can shift to accommodate genuine emergencies. This distinction allows appropriate flexibility while still maintaining protective boundaries. Relationships require deliberate attention during graduate school. Different types of relationships need different maintenance strategies. Partners and family relationships need ongoing communication about what graduate school demands and how it affects your availability. Expectations should be discussed explicitly rather than assumed. Your partner or family may not understand why you need to work weekends or why deadlines create stress. Explaining your world helps them support you and reduces conflict from mismatched expectations. Friendships may narrow in number but should deepen in quality. You likely cannot maintain the social life you had before graduate school. Focus on friendships that matter most and let others fade to acquaintance level. A few close friends who understand and support you provide more sustenance than many superficial connections. Long-distance connections with friends and family elsewhere require intentional maintenance. Schedule regular calls rather than hoping to find time. Brief, consistent contact maintains relationships better than sporadic, lengthy conversations. Put these calls on your calendar and protect them. New relationships outside academia provide valuable perspective and prevent your entire social world from centering on your department. Join community groups, pursue hobbies with others, or maintain connections to non-academic contexts. These relationships remind you that life extends beyond your research and that your worth is not determined by your productivity. If you have a partner or close family relationships, communication about graduate school's demands is essential for relationship health. Your loved ones cannot read your mind. Explain your world explicitly. What does comprehensive exam preparation actually involve? Why does the job market create anxiety? What makes this semester particularly intense? People outside academia often have no framework for understanding graduate life. Provide context so they can support you appropriately. Express your needs clearly rather than hoping others will intuit them. Do you need quiet during certain hours? Do you need emotional support without problem solving? Do you need help with household tasks during intense periods? Specific requests enable specific help. Vague complaints leave supporters unsure how to respond. Listen to their needs as well, since relationships are mutual. Your partner or family members have their own needs that deserve attention. If you expect understanding and accommodation of your demands, extend the same in return. Unilateral focus on your needs breeds resentment over time. Navigate major transitions together rather than making unilateral decisions. Where you apply for jobs affects your partner's life. How much time you spend on dissertation versus relationship affects you both. Major decisions should be made jointly with honest discussion of trade-offs and implications. Graduate students who are also parents face compounded work-life challenges. Parenting demands do not accommodate academic schedules, and both roles require significant time and emotional presence. The competing demands of parenting and graduate school are genuinely intense. Children need care regardless of your deadlines. Academic work needs completion regardless of your children's needs. This tension cannot be fully resolved, only managed through realistic expectations and practical support. Childcare is essential infrastructure, not optional convenience. Reliable childcare enables focused work time. Cobbling together informal arrangements or constantly juggling creates stress that undermines both parenting and academics. Invest in childcare that works for your family and seek funding support if available through your program or institution. Focus on presence over perfection in the time you spend with children. The quantity of hours may be constrained, but quality of presence matters enormously. When you are with your children, be genuinely present rather than mentally elsewhere. Brief but fully engaged time often matters more than extended distracted time. Remember that your children observe your relationship to work. If you model constant stress and resentment about your work, that shapes their understanding of careers. If you model passion for your work alongside appropriate boundaries, they learn that important work and healthy life can coexist. Physical health directly supports academic performance. Neglecting health in service of productivity ultimately undermines the productivity you are trying to protect. Sleep is the foundation that enables everything else. Chronic sleep deprivation impairs memory, concentration, emotional regulation, and immune function. You cannot think your best while sleep deprived. Protect adequate sleep even when deadlines loom, recognizing that impaired work takes longer than rested work anyway. Exercise manages stress and supports cognitive function. Regular physical activity reduces anxiety, improves mood, and enhances the cognitive capabilities essential for graduate work. Find forms of exercise you will actually do consistently rather than theoretically superior activities you avoid. Something sustainable beats something optimal. Nutrition fuels the brain that does your academic work. Skipping meals, relying on caffeine and junk food, or eating irregularly undermines cognitive function and emotional stability. Basic nutrition does not require elaborate meal preparation, but it does require eating actual food at regular intervals. Do not defer essential medical care. Ignoring symptoms, postponing checkups, and neglecting dental care may seem to save time but create larger problems later. Address health issues when they are small. Your productivity depends on a functioning body. Maintain it. Maintaining interests outside academia preserves your sense of self as more than your research and provides genuine restoration that enables sustained academic effort. Hobbies and creative pursuits maintain identity beyond your research role. Whether you enjoy music, art, cooking, gardening, gaming, or any other activity, continuing these pursuits reminds you that you are a whole person with diverse interests. When academic identity is threatened by setbacks, having other identity sources provides resilience. Community involvement connects you to the broader world beyond academia. Volunteer work, religious community, political engagement, or neighborhood involvement ground you in concerns larger than your dissertation. These connections provide perspective and meaning that pure academic focus cannot provide. Physical activities give your body the attention it deserves while often providing social connection and stress relief. Team sports, outdoor recreation, fitness classes, or simply regular walks offer benefits that sedentary academic work cannot. Building physical activity into your life serves both health and balance. Pursue rest that actually restores, rather than just avoiding work. Scrolling social media or watching television while feeling guilty is not genuine rest. Activities that absorb your attention, provide satisfaction, or genuinely relax you restore your capacity for subsequent work. Identify what actually restores you and prioritize it. Financial stress affects work-life balance by creating anxiety and sometimes forcing additional work that competes with both academics and personal life. Managing finances thoughtfully reduces this stressor. Budget realistically based on your actual income and expenses. Knowing exactly where you stand financially reduces anxiety from uncertainty. Track your spending to understand patterns. Make conscious choices about trade-offs rather than discovering problems through overdrafts. Seek additional funding through fellowships, grants, and appropriate side work. Research summer fellowships, dissertation completion grants, and awards you might be eligible for. If additional work is necessary, seek options that build skills or contribute to your academic goals when possible. Teaching, research assistance, and consulting in your area serve double purposes. Communicate about money with partners if you share finances and with advisors if financial constraints affect your work. Partners need to understand what your stipend actually provides and what trade-offs you face together. Advisors may know of funding opportunities or may accommodate situations they are unaware of until you mention them. Maintain long-term perspective about graduate school's financial constraints. This period of limited income is temporary. You are investing in education that should provide better earning potential later. The financial tightness is real and challenging, but it will not last forever. Life events continue during graduate school regardless of academic demands. Preparing for this reality helps you respond appropriately when significant events occur. Life does not pause because you are writing a dissertation. Family members get sick, friends get married, babies are born, people die. Expecting to coast through graduate school without life interruptions is unrealistic. Building flexibility into your plans acknowledges this reality. Respond appropriately to major events rather than always prioritizing academics. Missing a sibling's wedding to work on a paper is almost never the right choice. Being present for important moments preserves relationships and prevents regrets. Most academic deadlines can accommodate genuine life events. Most life events cannot be rescheduled. Illness and caregiving responsibilities can arise unexpectedly. You may get sick yourself or need to care for family members. These situations require adjusting academic expectations. Communicate with advisors about what is happening. Most programs have formal or informal policies for accommodating significant life circumstances. Some major decisions, like getting married, having children, or moving, may need to happen during graduate school rather than being deferred. There is no perfect time for major life changes, and waiting until after graduation may not be right for your situation. Make decisions that serve your whole life, not just your academic career. Many graduate students relocate far from family and friends, creating geographic challenges for maintaining relationships. Intentional strategies help bridge physical distance. Long-distance relationships with family and friends require intentional connection. Without spontaneous encounters, you must deliberately create contact. Schedule regular calls rather than hoping to find time. Send messages that maintain connection between calls. The effort required for long-distance maintenance is greater but worthwhile. Time zone differences complicate scheduling. If your family is several time zones away, finding mutually convenient times is harder. Identify windows that work for both parties and protect them. Early morning or late evening calls may be necessary. The inconvenience of scheduling across time zones is worth the connection it maintains. Plan visits strategically to maximize quality time. When you do see family or friends in person, be present rather than working throughout the visit. Brief but fully engaged visits often strengthen relationships more than longer visits where you are distracted by work. Video communication provides more presence than text-based messaging. Seeing faces and hearing voices creates connection that emails and texts cannot replicate. When possible, use video calls for important conversations with long-distance loved ones. The medium affects the message. Guilt often accompanies both work and personal time for graduate students, undermining enjoyment and effectiveness of both. Addressing guilt directly helps break this cycle. Work guilt says you should always be working more. When taking personal time, anxiety about unfinished work intrudes. This guilt makes rest unrestful since you are physically present but mentally working. The recovery value of personal time diminishes when guilt accompanies it. Personal guilt says you should be spending more time with loved ones. When working, you feel you are neglecting important relationships. This guilt makes work less productive since you are physically present but mentally distracted by relationship concerns. Neither type of guilt actually helps. Guilt does not make you more productive or more present. It simply ensures that wherever you are, you feel you should be elsewhere. Recognizing guilt's futility is the first step toward releasing it. Give yourself permission to rest and maintain relationships. You deserve time away from work. Your relationships deserve your attention. Granting this permission does not make you lazy or uncommitted. It makes you sustainable. The most productive scholars are not those who work every waking moment, but those who work effectively during work time and recover effectively during personal time. Institutions provide various supports for work-life integration, though they vary widely in scope and accessibility. Knowing what is available helps you access what you need. Family leave policies may exist for graduate students, though they are often less comprehensive than for employees. Know what parental leave, bereavement leave, or medical leave your program and institution provide. These policies may not be widely advertised, so ask specifically. Childcare support varies by institution. Some universities offer subsidized childcare, campus childcare facilities, or emergency backup care. Research what your institution provides before assuming nothing is available. Even partial support helps manage the high cost of childcare. Wellness resources typically include counseling services, fitness facilities, and support groups. These resources exist because institutions recognize graduate student challenges. Using them is not weakness, but wisdom. Take advantage of what your tuition and fees support. Advocate for better policies when current support is inadequate. Graduate student organizations can push for improved family leave, better stipends, enhanced childcare support, and other changes. Policy improvement requires advocacy. If current policies do not serve students well, work to change them for yourself and future students. Graduate life follows academic calendar rhythms that create predictable patterns of intensity and potential recovery. Working with these rhythms rather than against them supports better work-life integration. The academic calendar creates predictable intensive periods. Semester starts, midterms, finals, and paper deadlines cluster at certain times. Knowing these periods are coming allows preparation. Communicate with loved ones about upcoming intense periods so they can adjust expectations. Plan personal time around academic intensities. Schedule important personal events during less demanding periods when possible. Front-load work before known intensive periods. Protect recovery time after pushes. Working with the rhythm rather than fighting it reduces constant struggle. Semester breaks provide recovery opportunities that should not be entirely sacrificed to work. While some academic work during breaks is often necessary, preserving significant time for rest, relationships, and personal interests during breaks enables sustainability. Breaks that become just more work time provide no rhythm for recovery. Summer offers different pace and different opportunities for many graduate students. Course demands typically decrease. Different kinds of work become possible. Summer can be an opportunity for personal priorities that get squeezed during the academic year. How you use summer flexibility significantly affects your overall work-life integration. Work-life integration requires thinking across years, not just managing individual weeks. Patterns established during graduate school tend to persist, making intentional long-term planning important. Think in years rather than just weeks. Any given week might be imbalanced, but across a year, are you maintaining relationships, health, and interests that matter to you? Zooming out from immediate demands helps assess whether your overall patterns are sustainable. Regular assessment asks whether your patterns are actually working. Periodically step back and evaluate honestly. Are your relationships thriving or declining? Is your health stable or deteriorating? Do you have life satisfaction beyond academic achievement? If patterns are not working, they need adjustment regardless of how logical they seem. Adjust as circumstances change because flexibility is required. What works in coursework years may not work in dissertation years. What works while single may not work with a partner or children. Life circumstances change, and work-life patterns should evolve accordingly. Rigidly maintaining patterns that no longer fit creates unnecessary stress. Recognize that patterns you establish tend to persist after graduation. If you develop unsustainable habits during graduate school, you will likely carry them into your career. Learning work-life integration now prepares you for the ongoing challenge of managing demanding work alongside meaningful life throughout your career. Despite best efforts, work-life integration sometimes fails. Recognizing when patterns are not working and intervening appropriately prevents small problems from becoming crises. Signs of trouble include declining relationships, deteriorating health, and diminishing life satisfaction. If your partner expresses consistent unhappiness about your absence, if your health is suffering, if you cannot remember the last time you felt genuine joy, something needs to change. These warning signs deserve attention rather than dismissal. Intervene before reaching crisis. Small adjustments early are easier than major interventions after collapse. If you notice warning signs, address them promptly rather than hoping they resolve themselves. Problems left unaddressed typically worsen. Difficult conversations may be necessary with advisors about workload expectations, with partners about relationship needs, or with yourself about priorities. Avoiding these conversations allows unsustainable patterns to continue. Honest discussion opens possibilities for change. Sometimes major changes are needed. You might need to reduce your course load, change your research project, renegotiate your timeline, or make significant life adjustments. Major changes feel disruptive, but continuing on an unsustainable path leads to worse disruption eventually. Changing course deliberately is better than being forced to change by crisis. Let us consolidate the essential lessons from today's exploration of balancing graduate school and personal life. First, seek sustainable integration rather than perfect balance. The goal is not equal time every day, but patterns you can maintain across years. Accept that some periods will be work-heavy and others can be life-heavy. Judge your integration across semesters and years, not hours and days. Second, protect personal time deliberately and without guilt. Schedule time for relationships, health, and interests. Treat these commitments as real rather than optional. Give yourself permission to have a life beyond academics. Rest and relationships enable rather than compete with academic success. Third, maintain relationships through intentional effort. Communicate with partners and family about graduate demands. Prioritize quality time with close friends. Bridge geographic distance with regular contact. Relationships require attention but provide essential support. Finally, build patterns that serve your whole life, not just your academic career. You are a person with multiple roles and sources of meaning. Patterns you establish now tend to persist. Create sustainable approaches that honor your full humanity. Graduate school is significant but temporary. the patterns and relationships you develop last much longer. In our next session, we will explore developing professional communication skills, building capabilities that serve both academic and broader professional success. Writing the thesis is a marathon, not a sprint, but you do not have to run it alone. If you are feeling stuck with your data or overwhelmed by your sources, let us help. Head over to subthesis.com. It is completely free and designed to make your life easier. You are making progress. Keep going. And don't forget to subscribe for more support.